Thank you. I have a follow-up question from an earlier one that was submitted by an audience member. ESDC states that penalties will be imposed if the timetable is not met. Can you describe the penalties and who imposes them?
Sure. The negotiation of the project development was was a multi-party negotiation. It included the city, it included the state through ESDC, it included MTA, and included the developer. The remedies there will be remedies in place that relate to the failure to construct the first 3 residential buildings on the arena block. Those are ongoing negotiations, and I'm not going to tell you tonight what those penalties might be, but there will be penalties for that.
We want to hear. It's important. Follow-up question. Please tell us what the penalties will be.
Write it down. If you have a question to ask, Leroy is standing right behind you. He will hand you a piece of paper.
The primary penalty that was identified in the funding agreements that have been made available is that if the first phase of the project, which includes the arena blocks and Site 5, is not completed within 12 years of vacant possession, then there's an obligation to repay both to the state and the city a substantial portion of the money that was invested by the state and the city. That's out in the funding agreement. Additional remedies are under negotiation, and until those negotiations are completed, we're just not going to speak to those issues.
Okay. What is the
follow-up?
Richard, use the mic, please.
Sure. Are those then to be adapted for the separate phases, or are those overall for the project as far as you know? In other words, do the penalties then get decided after 12 years for phase 1 or 12 years for both phases?
Well,
and so on.
It's a little bit more complicated. First of all, there's an obligation to complete the arena within 6 years of vacant possession. So if the arena construction is delayed, there's a repayment obligation. As I mentioned before, if phase 1 is not completed within 12 years, there's a repayment obligation. And then far out, there's an obligation if the entire project's not completed within 25 years. However, and I want to reiterate, because I think it's very important, is that it is in everyone's interest to have this project built out and completed as soon as possible. It's in the state's interest. It's in the
You're taking time away from everyone by doing that. I'm sorry. Please continue. Okay. A question submitted by an audience member. What is the amount of government subsidies, direct and indirect, for the affordable housing component and for job creation? And how does this compare to other ESDC projects?
I think I could only speak in terms of ESDC and the state on that particular issue. The state obligation, state commitment to the project, I should say, is $100 million that's going to go to subsidize the infrastructure costs of the project. That's the limit of our financial contribution. There are other benefits that we're providing that result from ESDC ownership, such as a tax exemption on the arena parcel. There is additional subsidies for the affordable housing. I'm not the right person to speak to what those subsidies are.
So the city has committed $100 million in capital budget funding, as well as the state's $100 million, and has also made a commitment on certain infrastructure-related scope items in and around the project area. In addition to that, working hand-in-hand with our partners at Acorn and coordinating with the city on the housing program, it has been an ongoing process. The city will make available its off-the-shelf housing programs. Those are programs that are in effect and available to any developer seeking to build affordable housing. And that is the program that will be used to launch the first residential building, which again is expected to contain a total of 400 units, of which we anticipate at least 200 of those units to be low and middle income. The specific program and unit mix for the subsequent residential buildings will involve the same coordination and collaboration with both the city and our partners at Acorn.